I got a question. So I'm guessing y'all are religious. So do you think animals go to heaven?
No,
Well, they turn into
No.
toaster ovens.
because
Okay.
they're evil. No, I'm kidding. They're not evil. They just don't have
Because
rational
dogs have
souls.
bacteria.
So if animals don't go to heaven, and so would you say animals have like moral worth?
I mean, I think that they should be granted consideration and terminology of usage.
Why?
Because they don't have agency, so they can't be evaluated on autonomy.
Okay, okay,
Um,
so if they don't have agency, so then why should we even value it at all then?
yeah, we shouldn't. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, we shouldn't.
Yeah, like we
Okay,
should
then-
think
so
of
then-
them as tools.
Okay, so then would we be wrong with like using an animal for self pleasure?
Yeah, I mean, this would just be on the basis that like, it would be like, I guess it would just violate the natural law, like what Rousseau writes about. It would be
What do you
violating
mean by the natural law?
order. Yeah, so like Rousseau defines the natural order as simply like the process of whatever benefits a species for the purpose of natural, like foregoing natural selection for the succession of the species. So obviously this would violate the natural law in terms of it does not benefit either of the species, and thus it would violate the natural order.
Okay, and you're saying this
Also, I reject that pleasure is good. I don't
reject
I
that
don't
pleasure is
I,
good?
I reject I reject utilitarianism. You're presupposing utilitarianism to
I'm not
be
presupposing
true.
utilitarianism. I'm not going for utilitarianism. I'm just saying like if animals have no moral worth, then why should we uphold to like not being able to use animals in any way we want?
Well, I mean, you can as long as they don't fail another one of the like philosophical like necessities of life.
What philosophical necessities? What necessity? I thought you said animals have more. I'm not
Yeah,
attacking this from
you-
like a
you need to
religious
fil-
point of view because you're
No,
trying to
this is
say
like from a
religious
no.
means they
This
have
is just
no
from
moral
like a
worth.
no. This is just like from a human view. Like this is just gonna be we can morally intuit these things.
Intuit these things. This is aligned with
Yeah,
your
like
religion.
through this is through moral intuit. No. This is just through general philosophy. Like we can
Oh,
morally intuit these things.
Well, no, I'm asking
We're
from like a
just-
religious view. What would be wrong with
Oh,
like
you want the
doing that to an
religious view?
animal?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
it would be wrong because it would be for the purpose of pleasure, which would like rust is what you would say if you had an Asian accent. If you know what I'm talking about, I don't
Yeah, I know
wanna
what
get
you're saying.
censored.
So you're saying
Ball
it'd be,
knowledge.
Yeah. Like that would be a sin in and of itself because it is for the purpose of rust.
wait, okay, so you're saying it's for the purpose of okay, what if it's not for rust? What if you have like romantic feelings for the animal?
Yeah. Okay, then it would just be because it is rexually deviant. If you know
What
what
do
I
you mean
mean.
by actually deviant? Okay, well, what makes something actually deviant?
I mean, it would be because it doesn't fulfill like the natural like male female like reproductive
The
system.
natural okay, is
Yeah,
this like
because
said in
that's like
is
what
this said in the
that's what
Bible
the purpose
that like
of our
going
organs are
outside of
for.
this is wrong?
That's what the purpose of our organs are for. Yeah, because we're supposed to
Well,
respect
so
our
if
like
it's the
order
purpose,
of
then,
creation.
so then by that logic, if you go against that purpose, like you're doing a bad to be like
Yeah,
your
that would be
religion?
like something morally
Okay,
wrong.
so
Yeah.
so if someone was like celibate, then that are they going against God's will?
No, because they'd be doing so to prevent themselves from rusting, which is going to be
No,
a
no, no.
priori because
They
it's
could
one
just
of
be not from just rusting, but like just until like they just don't want to reproduce at all, just for like they just don't want to reproduce, just like not just from
no,
rusting.
but this is
just
going to
they
be
don't want to reproduce.
they're preventing themselves from mortal sin, which would be
Mortal-
better than participating in a
mortal
smaller
sin.
level of sin.
So okay, so you're
Yeah,
saying it's
mortal
better to
sin.
not do anything at all than to rather actually do it and like. So you're saying it'd be okay. I see what you're trying to say.
Well, if the thing that you're doing would be mortal sin, yeah.
Okay, so where's
It's
it said
obviously
it's
better
mortal
to not
sin
do
this?
anything to commit mortal sin. Yeah, rust is a mortal sin.
Yeah, I'm saying rust. Okay, but what gratifies this as being rust?
Doing something for the purpose of actual pleasure?
Or just romantic pleasure. Like you could have genuine feelings for the animal, like you do for humans.
Yes, but wait, but you're still not one, you're not respecting again the order of creation of God.
The order of creation. Okay, but did God ever say to respect the order of like hey, you can't do this, or is it just a hypothesis that we probably shouldn't do this?
Yes, he says to respect your maker, like your creator and his vision for you.
Okay, wait,
He says to
he said-
fulfill. He says to fulfill the vision of God for you personally, which would obviously be following
Okay, but
his
what's
order
to
of
say? What's to
creation.
say in that?
Otherwise,
in
what
that
he would be
field that we
doing would be
can't do it?
redundant.
But where does it say that we can't do it to these things to animals? That's what I'm confused on.
Yeah, that's just gonna be like that's just gonna be like like an exact word fallacy.
No, I'm not going.
Or like
I'm
a
not going back
verba-
for an
or-
exact word fallacy. I'm
No,
going for, like,
it's just
where
gonna be a
along the
verbatim
lines does it say
fallacy in and
something
of
like
again.
this?
Yeah. Again, you're supposed to value or respect the
Okay, wait,
way
just
that
tell
God
me where
created
it
you.
says to respect animals' moral worth. Just does it say that anywhere in the
No,
Bible?
you're not supposed to respect animals from a moral value perspective. That's
Okay,
not
so
what
then
you're
what
supposed to
perspective do we
do.
respect them on? What type of like from the Bible? What type of level should we respect animals on? Where does it say that from?
Right. Just like utilizing them as a tool.
It says not to do that. Where?
No, it says to do that.
Okay, so then what would be wrong with doing that for actual pleasure or in
Use
reference
them
to
as
like romantic
food.
feelings?
Yes, because one, that would be embracing utilitarianism, which is anti-Christian. Two, that would be doing something for the purpose of rust. And three, even if it's with
Wait,
romantic feelings, it
prove
would be
that prove
violating.
that's embracing utilitarianism.
And
It can
three,
like
what?
you said it's embracing
You're
utilitarianism.
evaluating. Yeah, you're evaluating actions or their prospective consequences based on like their axiom in relation to pleasure, like their parameter of pleasure. That would be
Okay, but
like affirming.
you saying it's boosting utilitarianism. But if that utilitarianism doesn't go
It's
against like if
affirming
that aspect of
utilitarianism.
it
Yeah.
doesn't go against God's will, then what would be the problem with that?
Wait, but it does.
But okay, well, what does it say that?
I just gave three reasons. One,
Okay,
utilitarianism is anti-Christian, and you are presupposing utilitarianism to be
no,
true.
no. Okay,
Even
and
if
no,
you don't
as
buy
a
that
whole,
argument,
it might be,
wait, let
but
me
like in its
finish
one
speaking.
aspect,
Oh my
how?
goodness, why am I getting
No,
interrupted?
you're
The
speaking for the
second thing
whole of
here, can I finish
utilitarianism.
speaking?
Go,
Can I finish speaking? The
go.
second thing is going to be on the basis of, again, this is going to be that if it has to do anything with pleasure, this is going to be rust. And the third one is going to be that, yo, stop speaking while I'm speaking. The third one is going to be after rust, which is going to be a mortal sin. The third one is going to be, even if it's for the purpose of like romantic pleasure, that's still going to be inherently going against the creator's vision for humanity, which would be going against God.
Okay, so can you show proof that it's against God's vision to do these things to animals?
Yes, because that's not what our reproductive organs have, a very specific purpose. Are
With a
you
specific
debating that
purpose?
they don't have that purpose?
The purpose to what? To breed with humans?
To reproduce. It's in the word.
To reproduce
To
reproduce with humans?
reproduce. Sorry, to reproduce.
No, I'm saying that can be in the purpose, but I'm saying can you prove doing something outside of that purpose in and of itself is immoral under God's word?
Yeah, because then we're not respecting the vision for the
No, you,
creation
you can
that
still
we are from
respect the
God.
vision and still do other things that don't contradict it. So I'm saying, can you prove that
Okay, so
doing
are you
this
just
is
gonna
exactly
concede the
contradictory?
rust portion though, like the rust portion?
I said it can be for like a romantic. It can be like
No,
you can do it
even
in a
if it
romantic
has
way.
romantic pleasure, it is inherently going to have actual pleasure to it. Not and it's again,
Huh?
it is not. You are not reproducing as a result of this
hold.
action.
Even if it's romantic, there's still gonna be actual pleasure. By that logic, any reproduction is bad. What? All reproduction has
What?
actual pleasure.
No,
Every
that's because you're
reproduction will have actual
literally
pleasure. Every reproduction will have actual pleasure.
no,
You do enjoy
because
it.
you're not actually doing it for the purpose of reproduction in this particular
Exact.
scenario.
Exact.
You're not reproducing. You are not actualizing the potency of your being through the purpose of creating offspring. You are not doing that. Instead, it cannot be for the purpose of reproduction, which means it must be for the purpose of actual pleasure, because otherwise it would be an entirely absurdist and redundant action.
Okay, so let me get right. It's only okay to do actual things with your partner if you are trying to reproduce. Is that correct?
Yeah, because then it would be for the purpose of reproduction.
Okay, so by that logic, if someone is, let's say a woman's unable to have children and she does that to her husband, is that an immoral thing under God's will?
Yeah, they shouldn't be doing that.
Oh wow, this is bad.
Yeah, they shouldn't be participating in that action. It would be for the purpose of.
Married
It
women
would be for the
can't have
purpose
pleasure
because
with
they'd
their
only.
husband
Yes, because they would
there's
only be doing it for actual pleasure, which would literally be rust. That's definitionally what that would be.
okay. Hold up. You know, can you give me the definition of actual?
Wait. Let me ask you a question. If they have
Yeah.
romantic attraction to their partner, why don't they just kiss them? Why do they have to have X?
Why do they have to have X?
Yeah, why do that?
It's a form of love.
Why can't they just kiss their partner?
It's a form of love.
No, why can't they just kiss their partner though?
Yeah,
Doesn't that fulfill the same
it's a form of
requirement?
like, you give higher forms of love. That's like saying, well, why don't you just
Right,
hug him only?
right. But
Hugging is
why
also a
don't they
form of
just
love.
kiss? Why don't they just like kiss a bunch then? Why don't they just like do that for like a whole night? Why don't they do that for the
Why don't
same
they
amount of
just
time that they
only
would be?
kiss? That's like saying, why don't they just only hug? Since hugging is also like would
Yeah, I mean, they would have to do it quantifiably more times, but that's fine.
exactly.
Why
So
don't
why
they
not just do
instead?
that? That's exactly. Why not just do
Because
that?
then they'd be doing it. Because then it would be because then there's other options, which means you're not doing it specifically.
Okay.
You're not doing it uniquely for the purpose of romantic pleasure, which means you are doing it for the purpose of actual pleasure, which means as a result of that you are committing rust,
Wait, no,
which would be a mortal
stop,
sin.
stop. So you just said you just said if they're not doing it, if they're not, you say they're only doing it for sexual pleasure, right? But we just said they're doing it for like say
No, I said
romantic
that they
pleasure.
are doing it from actual pleasure
You say
because
yeah.
it would be redundant. It would be because they're not uniquely doing it from reproductive
Wait, wait,
pleasure.
wait, wait,
Or
wait,
sorry,
wait.
from romantic
Why would it be
pleasure,
redundant again?
from romantic pleasure,
Yo, why would it be redundant again?
because it's not unique to that
It's
particular
it's
action.
not unique to that
It,
particular
yeah,
option.
it's not even quantifiably unique to that
Wait, wait.
particular
So
action.
so if the actual thing isn't unique to what? Unique to what?
What?
You said you
To
just not unique.
X, to
To
X, to
isn't
X.
unique to X. It's you said it's if it's not
Redundant.
it's redundant.
Yes, because
Redundant.
it's not quantifiably unique. Because it is not quantifiably unique, then there's no reason to be doing that over another alternative, which would mean that the other alternative, which doesn't include actual pleasure, would be the actually better option, which means that you're avoiding that because you're doing it for some other reason as well, because the first reason is redundant or
Wait,
not full. Like it's not the only reason, which would mean that you're also doing it for another reason, which would obviously be actual pleasure in this particular scenario, which would mean that you're committing rust, which is a
okay.
mortal sin.
Okay, so if the thing isn't unique to it in itself, and it is like it could be, if it's not unique, then it's wrong to do that. So
It's
kissing
not
is okay.
quantifiably unique.
Okay, so kissing is okay because it's not unique to Rex.
Well, it's not having actual pleasure. You're not gaining actual pleasure
You
from it.
don't
If
you,
you
you don't
are,
gain
then you
actual
shouldn't be
pleasure
doing
from.
it. Then you shouldn't be doing it. If you're yes, if you're participating in rust by doing so, you shouldn't be participating in that action. That's the whole. This is like Catholic. This is Catholic and Orthodox doctrine. Insofar as like we very clearly talk about how the fact that you should not, if it leads you to rust or to actual pleasure, then you should not be participating in that action at the very least before marriage. Because at least if you're having actual pleasure from doing the action while you are married, you are likely going to then engage in X, which is going to be for the purpose of reproduction. So this means that it's leading you right in this natural order. But if you're not
Wait,
doing so because you're not able to actually reproduce, that means that is not your final intention. And as a result of that, it would be either A, completely like redundant action, which would obviously not be a good thing, or B, it would be an action that you're like actually engaging in
so
without any direction towards it for the purpose of reproduction, which
so
would mean you're not respecting God's method for
okay,
you
so if
to
it's an
be
actual,
partaking in an
so if it's an
action.
actual act without the, so if it's an if you're doing an actual act without the intendant to do reproduction, you are doing an immoral thing.
If you are having X without the purpose of reproducing, yes, that is
You're having
Catholic
S
and
without the purpose of
Orthodox
reproducing.
dogma.
Okay, so is it only S or just actual things in general?
Well, I mean, it depends on how we're defining actual things.
Okay, well, how does the Bible explain actual things?
I mean, it's not using that particular terminology. It's
Well, yeah,
mainly
but
just
like
talking about
rust,
things that lead
like
you to rust.
yeah, rust. I'm not gonna say that. Rust. What leads you to rust? What like so? Well, anything can lead you to rust. You can, like kissing can lead you to rust. So I mean, like so like
Yeah, if it
anything
does,
actual
then
in
you
general.
shouldn't be. Then you shouldn't be doing it unless you're married, so that you can have the intention. If you get actually, if you get that motivated, like for
So
that particular
kissing
thing,
is
then you're
bad
able to
if you
then,
do it without the
if it leads you to
intention,
rust, yes, if it leads you
without
to rust, then
reproduction.
it is bad.
Okay, so
If something leads you to rust, it is a mortal sin to
yeah,
partake in that action knowingly. That would be a
rust is,
bad thing.
and so rust is any actual act without
No, it's the other
converting
way
near reproduction.
around. That's not the definition of rust, because rust includes other things as well. That particular thing would fall under
Well,
the
we're
definition
not
of
let's say
rust.
only actual, but like
It's
let's
the
say like
other way around. Not all things that are rust are those particular things, but all things that are those particular things in that particular like
okay, so
qualifications
all
would be rust.
also all actual things that aren't for the purpose of reproduction or rust.
Not wait, all actual things that aren't for the purpose of reproduction?
Yeah.
Yes, those would be
Okay. Wait.
rust. Those would be participating in
All
rust.
rust. Okay. So all
All
actual
actual things
things that
that aren't
aren't
for the
for the
purpose, that
purpose
aren't to lead to
to
reproduction.
lead to
Like that's not a goal in mind. Then
reproduction
it would be rust.
is okay. So by that logic, if a husband was to just kiss his wife on the face or whatever, just kiss his wife, and but this is not leading to the reproduction, is that an immoral thing?
They're not gonna have X if he's actually like if he's
So
motivated
if this
to
is
have
only if it
X.
leads to that,
Well,
but
yeah,
it's not for
if it leads
reproduction.
to the act of reproduction, if it leads to the act of reproduction or knowingly for the intended purpose of leading to the act of reproduction, again, this is going to be potency to actualization. If
All
it is for the
actual
purpose of
things that aren't for
actualizing
the
this
purpose
potency,
to lead to reproduction.
if it is not for the intention of actualizing the potency of that act that is taking place, then it would be rust.
Well,
If you have no intention to actualize the potency to reach the logical conclusion of that act, then
wait,
yes, it would be rust.
hold on. Wait, what do you mean by like actualize says max potentially? Because wouldn't like if you kiss somebody, the next highest level would be like Rex. So if they kiss their partner without the intention to reproduce,
Well,
then
no,
wouldn't that be immoral?
if you didn't get actual motivation from it, like if you didn't get actual pleasure from
I have
it,
a
then
If you
question
no.
on
didn't
how
get
the debate even got here, bro.
so
How
if
did
you
we even
didn't,
get here?
but if you do, then it's immoral. So if you get pleasure from kissing your wife,
If it's your wife, then you guys are married, and then if you're motivated to have X as a result of that, then you guys should be communicating that because you have the. It wouldn't be rust for you because you had the intention of them participating in the act of reproduction. That would mean that you have the intention of actualizing the potency, which would mean that it doesn't fall under the definition of rust that we provided.
okay. And so if someone did this with
So
an
no, that
animal, what
hypothetical
would be the
doesn't
problem?
work.
If someone did this with an animal, what would
What?
be the problem?
Because it's not going to participate in reproduction
An animal can't participate in reproduction.
with a human?
I mean, yeah, they can
Bestiality.
do it. Yeah,
No, they can't. It's literally impossible
why not? Wait,
because
how?
the particular genomes cannot mix to create an actual
Oh,
being.
you mean they have to have like a baby out of it? Okay. So I think we're talking about just the action of itself. Okay. So you're talking about they actually have to have a
Long
baby
as
out of it.
it's again, as long as it has the intention of
Attention.
then reproducing, yes.
As long as
It's
it has
all
the
about
intention.
intention. We're measuring off of intention because if you just measure off of the act itself, like what happens as a result of the act, then that means that you could be held responsible for something that you didn't even want to happen in the first place, but you're being held accountable as if you did intend for that thing to happen. That would be logically inconsistent and not just, which would not fall under an actus purus being.
So rust is actual acts or all actual acts that do not lead to the intention of reproduction or
All
rust
things that cause actual pleasure
or cause
that
actual
do not
pleasure.
lead to the intent or without that take place without the intent that are intentional acts, of course. Like if someone were to come up to you on the street and kiss you and then run away, obviously you can't have X with that person to then reproduce as a result of that, even if you got actual pleasure. So that's why intention is a necessity. Again, we have to factor intention into every step of the
So
action.
all intentional things that cause pleasure that lead to Rex, without the want for reproduction is wrong.
Still has. Wait, one second.
Yo,
Yeah.
what's up? We're here, bro. I've been waiting for so long. Yo, that debate, like, bro, oh my gosh, I was so interested.
That's not done yet.
Not, but the other guy's looking right.
Sorry, I'm back. I was talking to someone. I'm back. So correct. Yeah, we've got we're on the same page of the definition. Every point in which an action takes place that leads to actual pleasure without the intention for the actualization of the potency of reproduction would be inherently rust. Oh wait, is he there?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, so
okay.
okay. And where okay, so does it say anywhere in the Bible that like or that this is the case like to do this thing without the need or the want for reproduction would fall into rust?
Not the verbatim definition, no.
What are the Bible definition? But like, it's like those words. Is that like what it said? Like,
Well, we
along
see
those
this
words?
through the interpretation of specific verses from the church fathers. Like they give very clear and very clear and very like infallible definitions or interpretations of these verses that clearly show how if it's not for the purpose of reproduction, then it would be considered rust. Again, this is dogma under the churches, so this is going to be established like right after Christ died. With the particular like church fathers, or right after Christ resurrected, I should say.
Okay, so after Christ resurrected, they said if you're doing actual things without the intended purpose,
The
to
church
produce,
fathers of the church
Yeah.
did say that, correct?
yeah, and then it would be wrong because that would be rust. So rust is anything like
Yeah.
that. So
Do you
then
want
a
like
husband and
church
wife,
father quote?
yeah. So a husband and wife are together, do not intend to have a baby, but they still have Rex. That would be immoral.
That would be immoral, correct? Like for example, under both Catholic and Eastern Orthodox.
No, I got idle. No, that wow. So hold up, I got kicked for being idle. Can I return back?
Was
How'd you
What's
that?
guys
up,
even
bro?
how'd you guys even
Yeah, there you
get
go.
on the
Yeah, I
X
was idle for
stuff?
20 minutes, so I
I
got
don't know. I
kicked. I
got there
forgot
at
to
some
move my
point. What's
cursor.
up, bro?
Yeah, okay. Okay, and so
Oh,
okay,
it's
so
'cause my dog
what
ran
if one
away.
of them is infertile and can't have a child, but they still want to do that with their wife?
Well,
As
they
an act
shouldn't
of
be
love.
participating in. They can't. They shouldn't be participating in Rex then.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean it's not a necessity for life. It's actually quite the opposite. Like if you're not doing it for the purpose of reproduction, there's zero purpose to it, unless we're embracing positive utilitarianism.
Okay, so it's purpose. If not, this must be the Catholic view. I feel like I haven't heard any other Christian say this. This must be only under Catholic view.
No, the Orthodox doctrine affirms this as well. We
The
just take a
Orthodox.
more essence-based stance for it.
Hmm.
Like
I'm
we're
pretty
more
sure married
mysterious.
couples
We're,
do that action without the intent to reproduce.
yeah, they shouldn't be.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm not arguing that they don't do that. That would be like Hume's guillotine, like what
No, no,
Kant
I'm not.
argues. That
Yeah,
like,
I'm just saying. Like I thought, like under the view, I thought it was okay to like be
oh
do
no
it with
no
your
no no
wife
no,
still.
bro.
Mm.
Like for example, like did you know that the Catholics would tell you that if you partake in Rex without while using a method to block, you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah. So that would fall
A
into the thing of
sleeve,
like
we
that's
could call
bad.
it a sleeve. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a mortal sin
Mm.
because that would just be for the purpose of pleasure, which would be bad.
A pleasure. Okay. So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
for the purpose of
Participating in
pleasure.
actions for the purpose of pleasure is bad.
Okay. Okay. And this.
Because that's like
Okay.
ill motivated action,
So what if they do
essentially.
something like an actual act, but that's not like the actual Rex itself, but they do not lead up to Rex, which is an
I mean,
actual
if
act in of
it's
itself.
again, if they're gaining like actual pleasure from it, then yeah, then it would be lust or
Okay.
rust.
Wouldn't it be wrong to kiss your wife?
I mean, if it is leading to, well, I mean, again, the wife
If it doesn't lead to
example.
that.
Oh, if it doesn't,
Yeah,
well,
that's
I
like an
mean,
actual act that doesn't lead to Rex.
did the guy or the girl get actual pleasure from it?
Well, I wouldn't say actual pleasure, but they got happiness, I guess. Like,
Well, I mean, if they didn't get actual pleasure from it, then where's the point where like there's no potency to actualize? If
okay,
they
so
didn't,
then,
again, this is right because this is all about intention to actualize potency. If there's no potential for this to evolve further because they never got that particular form of motivation from the action, then no, it's fine if it doesn't lead to that. If they
okay,
didn't even intend to lead to that in the first place, neither of them did. Okay, then it doesn't lead to that.
fine. Okay, I'm writing all this down. Okay, so then, what if a person didn't gain actual pleasure from it, but still did it to like animals?
If they didn't get any actual pleasure from it,
Yeah,
is that possible?
yeah, they're just doing. I say they're just doing Rex with an animal, but they don't
Right?
gain actual
Why?
pleasure from it.
Why though? Why though? Why did they do
Why?
that?
They wanted to just purely experiment. Like they wanted to just test out
Wait,
what would it be
I
like.
I would reject pragmatism as well.
What's
So
pragmatism?
experimentation, this is the pragmatism is essentially like what we would call the scientific method that you experiment, then you look at the consequences, then you revise, and then you act again.
Mm,
So this is basically like it's called retrospective consequentialism. You look at the past consequences and you
mm-hmm,
evaluate your action based upon that, like its permissibility or impermissibility.
mm-hmm,
And everything is based upon experience and experimenting.
mm-hmm.
I reject pragmatism. So, like the whole concept of because you're experimenting with something is morally good, I would actually reject that and say quite the opposite. That if you're doing something simply for the purpose of experimentation with no positive motivation to do so, I'd say that it would be not necessarily impermissible, but it would be morally bad, or like it would be a negative action. It should be perceived that way.
Okay, I see. I see. Okay, what if they wanted to do it purely for fun?
For fun.
Yeah.
So wait, again, under this hypothetical, they're not getting any actual
No
pleasure
actual
from it.
pleasure.
I mean, then I guess my question would just be why.
It's something they find fun. Or like let's say even if not Rex in
What is
general, but
fun
like just
though?
but to do let's say like an actual act like kissing or to caress, right? But it doesn't lead to that like, to the actual act of Rex in
Wait, but
itself.
I would argue that humans perceive fun as in they get pleasure from something. They would call that action fun.
No.
Like that's how humans. There's no objective like fun. How humans perceive it
Yeah, so if
happens to
there's no
be
objective fun,
from.
to them it's just fun to like caress like let's say it's like let's say the animal's dead, right? So it like to caress its cold body.
Okay, so that would just be like mutilating creations. That's not a good thing. That would actually be a sin in a different way because you're not respecting the creation
What
of
did you say
God.
about animals?
Okay, and we should respect the creation the dead animals. Is it said there that we should respect dead animals
Well,
or just dead
it's
humans?
a creation of God. Even if it's no longer, again, even if it's no longer a being within like the physical realm, as long as I mean, it's still like not respecting the creation in and of itself.
In
It
and of
shows that you
itself.
didn't have full intact respect for it if you only viewed it for its utility while it was alive. Like we would view animals' utility as being after death as well.
Okay, wait. So can you define an animal's utility?
Yeah, so an animal's utility is going to be for things that, again, this is almost loops back to like Rousseau's natural law in the idea that we use animals for the utility. I believe that in the Bible, at least in Genesis, it defines like us ruling over the animals is for the purpose of food, transportation, and like things that would be considered holy because they have no ill intent within them. So this would be things like transportation, food, like I don't know, like farming water for us or something, like farming for us so that we can get more food in a different way. Like it's gonna be all of these different things.
Mm, okay. And what justifies this one not being in like a respectful way or it going against that?
Yeah, because it has no content, like it has no good intention with it.
What justifies it not getting tension with like just having fun with the animal like in that way? I
Because
mean, it was just
fun
pure fun.
comes from pleasure. Human perception of fun comes from pleasure.
Well, it's not from like actual pleasure. It's just like a pleasure of fun, like just
Right. If you're chasing pleasure in something, one, you're presupposing util to be true again. Even if you're not doing that,
wait.
you're
So
still doing
doing
something for the
something,
purpose of pleasure.
doing something that's
I'm pretty
fun.
sure. I'm pretty sure Rust doesn't even have to be actual. Here,
So
You
to
have
do
to be
something
extra.
that's fun is chasing pleasure, which is bad.
here.
Like,
One second.
And then other people like chasing like money, like stuff like that, pleasure for money. It's the
Well,
same.
no,
well,
that'd be
that could be
greed.
greed,
That
but
would be greed. Yeah,
he's saying
that'd be
chasing
greed.
purely. He's
Says
saying chasing
it.
purely
It says it almost seven deadly
like
sins.
purely chasing like I want to have some fun, and that in of itself would be bad.
Okay. Well, technically, actually, the definition that comes here, that I see, is actually that. So one definition is an intense or unrestrained actual craving. Two would actually be an overwhelming desire or craving for a worldly desire or material possession.
Well, it's not like it's an overwhelmingly crazy desire. It's just something they like to do for
No, no,
fun.
no, no, no. Just a worldly desire, a desire of this world, a physical, material
Yeah, no,
desire.
and a desire in of itself isn't
Right,
a rust,
desire
but it's like
money
an
is
overwhelming
fun.
If
one.
it is a
That's what
world,
rust.
if it is a no, if it is a worldly desire, if you're doing something for the again, this is just well, yeah, it does say an overwhelming desire, yeah, but if you're doing something like this for the purpose of pleasure, that would be like a desire. You would be fulfilling that desire, for the purpose of like fulfilling pleasure.
Okay, so if someone buys a bunch of Beyblades for the pleasure of happiness, that's bad.
What? Like just for the
So
purpose of happiness?
yeah, because you're saying chasing this happiness in this sense would be wrong to do because you're chasing pleasure, which is wrong. So would it be wrong for someone to buy a bunch of toys that they like childhood Pokemon cards, and play with a bunch of Pokemon cards all day?
Just like
Because
for the
they're
purpose
chasing
of
pleasure?
fun?
Yeah.
Like you're just collecting these things, you're not like giving
Yeah,
this money.
it's purely fun. Like you just love playing with Beyblades. They love playing with OG Pokemon cards, with action figures. That
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a mortal sin. I would much rather just say that it's a sin more generally.
it. Okay, what's the difference between a mortal sin and a normal sin?
Yeah, so there's two different types of sin. There's mortal sin and there's mortal sin and there is what's the word that the Catholic doctrine uses for it? Maybe do you know what a venial sin. There we
There's
go.
venial sin and mortal sin.
Yeah, a venial sin. A venial sin is going to be like what would be considered like not a weak sin, but like a more minor sin in comparison to a mortal sin. Venial sin, I don't know like a great definition for it, I suppose. Like as far as like the Catholic dogma goes, since I'm Eastern Orthodox, so we have slightly different theology on this stuff. Insofar as we are more mysterious and nonchalant than the Catholic
venial
churches.
sin example
well-
would be like weakening your relationship with God without completely breaking it. It's like a less serious matter. So like
Wait,
white
so
lies.
would
like
a venial sin still be seen as something that's like is like worthy of punishment or worthy of like terribleness? Because like by under your definition, wouldn't hopping on Roblox just to have purely for fun alone, wouldn't that also be like a venial sin?
Yeah, I mean
What?
a lot of the things that we do are venial sins.
Okay.
How would hopping on
I-
Roblox be a venial sin? What?
Like,
Well, I
purely
mean, if
for
it's,
fun.
simply, if it's simply purely for the purpose of pleasure or fun, if it's simply for the purpose of pleasure, then yeah, it would be a venial sin. Yeah.
Okay. So like on the you're allowed into heaven to you're going straight to like burn scale. What a venial scale.
Well, and again,
sin-
even
Right.
within the subsets of sin, there is still like we can still intuit quantity or like we can still quantify sin within its own subset of sin itself.
So in a subset of sin, we can still say this venial sin is worse than the other venial sin, even if they're both venial sins. You're saying?
Yeah, we can like intuit that. Again, like
Okay.
Christianity definitely adopts moral intuitionism insofar as we can like intuit things that are going to be like objective truths. Like we can intuit things that are fundamental truths of life.
Okay.
Idle
And
talk
how do we
and
intuit these
frivolous.
things?
Here, wait. Look at the thing in chat. If according to the fathers, idle talk and frivolous laughter are sins, I can definitely see how Roblox purely for fun could be a minor sin. Yeah, I agree.
Idle.
Yeah,
Talk?
so,
What's
like,
idle talk?
because-
What would be idle talk?
Well,
Like just normal talk about your day? Like, oh, how was your day? Oh,
No,
was good. I was just with my cousin last week. Like, is that like idle talk? Like something with no like substance?
It
I
would
guess
just
no
be-
religious substance.
Yeah, it would be for like with no aim. It would be like for no aim, like with no aim in mind.
No aim. Well, how do you idly talk with no aim in mind? I'm confused. What does that mean? Like,
Well, yeah,
Well,
like you're not
every
trying
purpose
to,
of a
you're,
talk
you're
has, like,
doing
a
it for the
purpose,
purpose. You could say it's like chit chat for the purpose of passing time.
Wait, you think that's wrong?
No, it's going to be an extremely minor sin as far as sin goes.
You think like small talk is an idle sin, a small sin?
No, idle talk is a venial sin.
And what would you consider as idle talk?
I mean, this is according to the church fathers. Someone else mentioned it in chat.
Well, in regards to the topic, animals definitely cannot go to heaven.
Yeah, because they don't have rational souls, right?
Yeah, if you look at Leviticus, it says their life is
Okay,
their blood.
I have
That's
a
why
question. If they
actually
don't have
created
rational
this
souls,
thing.
then why would God care if we disrespect them or care for them?
Because they're still His creation, right?
Yeah, they
Okay,
are still his creations. That's what I mentioned earlier.
Well, that's
the
like saying
respect for
spitting on
creation.
grass, but like under that creation would also be like messed up, like immoral, or like a sin if you spit on
It's
grass.
not a being.
Because Matt.
But it doesn't have a
grass
soul. The same as like
isn't
what's the
sen-
difference between
doesn't have a
grass and an
sensitive-
animal?
Well,
I
a
don't think
grass
it's not
doesn't
souls.
have
They don't have
a
individual
sensitive
will,
soul.
right?
An animal has a
Yeah,
sensitive
exactly.
soul attached to their physical body. Grass wouldn't have that sensitive soul.
Oh,
it
so
would
it's
have
a sensitive
awareness.
soul, but not a so there's between a sensitive soul and a rational soul. Okay.
It's
A
still going to
rational
be
soul
capable
is
of
capable.
sensation. A
Mortal
sensitive
sin.
soul is still going to be capable of sensation. That's the definition of it. Like it comes from sense, right? Sensitive would be the ability to sense, like having feeling sensation. That'd be a sensitive soul. If you have no soul, then you can't even feel sensation.
Okay, so no
That's gonna
soul
be like a totally different thing.
versus rational. You said what was the other one you said?
What?
sensitive.
Like sensitive soul.
Sensitive versus rational, sensitive soul.
And then rational would also be immortal too, in that sense.
Rational.
Yeah. A rational soul, because it can abstract. It would be immortal. A sensitive soul, because it is not capable of abstraction, and it cannot.
So a sensitive soul is just something that can feel pain or like can actually have emotion.
Well, it's
Uh,
sensitive in the sense that it's tied to its physical body, so it can feel emotion. Not in the sense that we feel it, but like that's how
What do you mean by
God-
it's tied to its physical body?
Literally,
Isn't
the
like-
fact that it can feel things that it can feel the sense of what happens to its physical body. Again, tied to its physical body in the sense that it can feel things that happen to its physical body.
Exactly.
is able to sense or feel those things.
Yeah, it just means that they can perceive the world.
Exactly.
Wait, are you Christian or not, him? Like, I genuinely cannot tell.
Yeah, look at the.
Okay, does it have to
profile,
also feel the act of pain, or just feel things that happen to its body?
What do you
Wait.
mean by that?
Like,
Huh?
cause like grass can feel like physical things, but it just doesn't have emotion enough to feel pain or anything
No,
like
it
that. So,
can't. It can't. No,
Grass-
it
Right.
literally
Actually,
cannot
grass can
feel
feel
physical
things.
things. It has no nerves or
Yeah.
senses. It cannot even feel.
Grass can
It's not even just-
sense
it's
physical
not even-
change and damage to its body, but it cannot feel pain or emotion. How grass senses the
How does it
world.
sense?
Wait.
That's why I looked up, and
Response
that's what it
to
said.
Oh, what's
So I
your
said, can grass feel things that happen to its body? And it's saying, yeah.
No. Response to stimuli is not the same as sensation. Right.
Well, so
Yeah,
that's
that's
actually like
true.
have emotion.
And yeah, animals have emotions.
No, guys, I asked before. You said no, it doesn't need. One of them said you don't need emotion. That's why I was confused. So I said, ask again. Like, do you need emotion, or is it just the act of feeling it?
Because it depends on how we're defining feeling.
Like
Plants
feeling,
don't
like
feel
as in a sense of
anything.
you can like you can tell when it is happening to you, but you like not a sense of like rational thought or like like I actually have emotion for it, but like it knows when
Wait, but the
when something is
grass
happening.
the grass cannot discern it in the fact that it cannot decipher the stimuli it is feeling. It can only sense a change in the stimuli. It cannot actually discern what has happened to it.
So it would need some type of thought process for that then.
Response
Well, then
to
you're getting into
stimuli is not
consciousness versus
sentient.
awareness.
Right. Yeah. Like you can have a response
So then-
mechanism to like.
So then it would have to have some type of
sense
consciousness. So
things.
like, does it have to be a high level of
it-
consciousness or like a low level of
No, it
consciousness?
wouldn't.
No,
The
it
plant
wouldn't.
No,
would
it
have
doesn't have to have a
awareness.
consciousness.
It wouldn't have. It would have awareness. It wouldn't have
Yeah.
consciousness. It
No,
can't. It
plants
still
can
can't
have
freely
awareness.
think. It doesn't have intellect.
Okay, so it needs consciousness, not awareness, to be a sensitive soul.
Consciousness is awareness. That's what consciousness is. Self-awareness. Right? Plants don't have this. Animals do.
Wait, okay. Well, he's saying animal. He's saying animals. Like he's saying sensitive. He's saying what's it called? Awareness and conscious are are the same thing. The other guy is saying it's not the same thing. Which one is it?
They are the same.
Wait,
Awareness
what?
is if you're aware, self-awareness is literally what consciousness is.
I don't think anyone said that those were different things. I think we're arguing with ghosts now.
Anyways,
No, he said
Um,
that conscious.
so what we're pointing out is that like animals, they're sentient beings. In that means that they have sensitive souls. That's what we mean by sensitive soul, right?
Okay,
Wait,
so
if you can talk to ghosts, can you talk to Thomas Aquinas for me? I have a couple questions.
Your plant analogy, right? It'd be like saying a computer is able to sense things because it can change its output when it receives an input, right? Like that's not what sensing is, or it's not what it means to feel something.
So-
Again, I think that a fundamental, like simplified definition of this would actually just be discernment. Like, I think that would be a good word for it. It's simply being able to discern what has occurred.
okay, it has to have the
Whether or not
ability
you rationalize
to
it, ration is not a necessity.
what's the word you said? Discern or discern? What was it?
Discern.
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 I-C.
So what do wait, my bad. What did the guy say?
Discernment, the ability to discern what has occurred,
Okay,
whether
but
or not
what
it
would
is
happen if the animal was?
rationalizing said
What would happen if the
discernment.
animal was unconscious then?
The animal is unconscious?
Yeah, because then it would be able to discern anything.
Well, I guess you could argue like post-actualization.
Post,
Insofar as
post-actualization.
Yeah, like that it has actualized in the past its ability to discern. Because it has exercised this, it has the ability to do so. So to be logically consistent, we would be to say that
So it has to
because
have had it in general, not it needs to have it 24/7.
yeah, just to have exercised it, like shown the ability to exercise said thing. It has to have actualized its potency to do so.
Okay, I see. So to be a sensitive soul, it needs to have had the ability to discern what is happening to it. Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't think this would include, like, for example, a dead body because it no longer has the potency, right? Like the whole point is even if you were unconscious, technically your being as a whole still has the potency to actualize. like the particular thing, like the particular ability to discern, I would say that does not apply equally to a dead body. So I actually don't know, like from this particular perspective, like what we're arguing now, I don't actually know how this would land with like, doing something to a dead animal.
Mm.
I actually don't know how this would apply for this particular argument now that we're making, like this particular paradigm. Because obviously it no longer has the potency. Um,
Oh, wait, so when you mean it has to have had the ability to be able to discern, that it has to have had it but be alive,
it has to have had, but still have the potency.
but
It
still, by
has to have
potency you mean
shown
like
the ability to.
but the ability to, but if it's dead, it doesn't have the ability to do anything.
Right. That's why I said that I don't know how this
Oh,
paradigm
okay.
particularly extends to this example. I mean, if Deadpool has some input on this since he has not spoken in a while, which is surprising because he loves to talk.
Dude, why do you
Um,
keep saying that? Guys, I don't even know. I zoned that for a second. I don't even know what you guys are on right now.
Well, I just wanted to question and get some thoughts on this. So I was like, what is this?
Rotten, what do you think about this? If you've been paying attention.
It's
Oh,
valid.
Well, okay, so that would be a sensitive soul, and the sensitive soul was different from a rational soul.
yes.
Okay.
Because a sensitive soul, again, just has the ability to discern what has occurred, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily rationalize said discernment.
Okay.
Yo, I actually feel like a philosopher right now, bro.
If a sensitive souls, what's it called? Let's say discernment and stuff like that. If its value is only temporary and stuff like that, then why does it matter?
That's why I'm saying that under this paradigm, I'm not actually sure how it would apply. I might have to boot up the old Truth Oracle, aka Chat GPT, and see what it thinks about this. I just want to waste some water so that now it can't go to the kids dying of thirst in Africa.
NateFM.gpt, bro.
I use ChatGPT all the time, bro. The fuck, I can't say that. Roblox shit. Roblox shit. Uh, no, I got apologies. I'm good. Okay.
He got VC ban. Oh dang.
I almost did. I said, oh, he got VC ban. I think it might have been the African kids part. Okay, so rational soul is different from a sensitive soul, and a sensitive soul is different from something with no soul at all. Venial sin, mortal sin. Okay. We have other guys switch. Other guy. So how do you justify which venial sin is worse than the other? Is it whatever is closest to a mortal sin?
Well, venial sin in and of itself is like a lesser severity of sin. So you would
Mhm.
have to just you have to compare the venial sins and see which one is on a more severe level, and then the more severe level would bring it to
Well,
like
how do
you
you
said.
grantify what is more severe than the other?
Well, that would be like Catholic doctrine based on like how they would categorize which sin where, right? Which I don't have the full knowledge on that. But like they were talking about like here I looked up venial sin examples because I was actually curious. And like telling small harmless white lies would be a venial sin. But then obviously like a more extreme sin would be gossiping to the point where you're like defaming and slandering a person's name by revealing their faults and sins. Like that'd be a more extreme sin. So it's like,
Mhm.
and then but while it's like sharing idle gossip is considered a venial sin. So there's like different levels of there's different sides. Um, yeah, I said even
And
mortal
they would
sins have
are
different
all
degrees of
mortal sins
gravity.
equal, or some mortal sins worse than others?
That's a good question. Well, no. They're not all equal because they have gravity, like you said. So,
Okay.
like, some of them would be worse than others.
Okay, so some mortal sins are worse
The
than
the grave
other.
like the gravest sin, which is considered unforgivable, which would be blasphemy against the Holy Spirit, which is talked about in the Bible,
Okay.
which is like the greatest form of like mortal sin.
Rotten's like profile pics just reminding me of like Wizard 101. I don't know why.
Yeah, bro.
Holy
I mean, you
throwback.
wouldn't expect someone with like a gnome to be like this educated, but it's awesome, bro. It's great to see that. So wait, are you just like are you like Christian, not Christian, just like trying to get more information or like
I
what?
guess if I had to like say it into words, I say I'm like an agnostic leaning theist. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, right now I'm just like more of like a under like a reading and discovering journey than rather than a picking a side journey.
Yeah, I get that.
Mm. I was like, you know what? Why not let me just do like multiple different religions? Why not just read a bunch? Because I had like I like a debate topic was brought up to me. I'm like, someone's like, you should debate this. I'm like, if I'm gonna debate this, I'm gonna need to know some knowledge. And it was like, I was gonna do like I wanted to do this one debate, but like I needed to like know to more knowledge. So that's why I'm like trying to go in depth to like different religions. Like I gotta do like one for Islam, uh, questioning like and just like other different religions. Both hold. It would be insult someone's. Even if mortal sins have different ways, what if I have insult someone so bad enough they could? So venial sins can become mortal sins depending on the depravity of the situation. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let me write that down. Actually, that's very important. Venial sins can become mortal sins depending of the situation. Okay. Hmm. Okay. But it still wouldn't be as bad as some of the bigger mortal sins. Okay. And there's nothing greater than a mortal sin, right? Like this like a mortal sin's the highest?
Yeah, there's nothing greater than a Morrison.
Okay, I see. Okay. Okay. And let me while I'm here also, let me see if I can get them all the let me see if I tell me if I'm missing some. I'm trying to make sure all the perspectives of the Bible would be Catholic, Christian, um Orthodox.
Yeah, Orthodoxy is one. Also, I mean,
Um
Catholics are Christian, but I get what you're saying. Are you
oh,
like
Catholics are
discerning?
Christian?
Yeah, are you discerning the difference between Catholics and non-denominationals? Because Catholics are Christians. Like we're the first,
All right, guys.
like
But it's like a different okay.
No, the Eastern Orthodox Church is the true church. We all know this.
okay, bro. Okay.
It's an
Yeah.
established fact, obviously.
All right, 1054, buddy. 1054.
Um, yeah. So the oracle has spoken. By the oracle, I of course mean ChatGPT has spoken on this particular thing. So
Yeah.
it says strictly based on the words that I provided it. It says that strictly speaking, there is a strong argument that it would not be intrinsically wrong to do that to a deceased animal under my framework. Now, it says that there are three ways that the framework could still generate duties concerning the body.
Mhm.
First, you could distinguish intrinsic value from derivative value, which would be that the body itself may no longer possess the morally relevant capacity, but its treatment can matter because of its relationship to living beings. For example, desecrating an animal's body could harm people who cared about it, which would
Mhm.
undermine social practices surrounding death or
Mhm.
cultivate dispositions that lead to the mistreatment of living creatures.
Okay.
In that case, the wrongness is not located in harm to the deceased animal itself.
Okay. But the action like
Second,
that stem from it.
What? Yeah, the actions that stem from it, correct. Like it still has derivative value
Yeah, I
in
see
the
what you're saying.
sense that its impact still exists
Yeah.
even after its death. Second, you could argue that the animal's identity persists through its remains, even though its active capacities have ceased. But obviously, this would require adding a metaphysical premise that the original framework does not contain. So that would require some sort of outside metaphysical claim. The third one could be you could appeal to a respect for what it was. This would say that although the deceased no longer has interests, there is something morally significant about the treatment of the remains, consistently with the dignity that the creature possessed while alive. This again would be an additional principle. You would have to explain why the moral status of a former subject survives the destruction of the very capacity that grounded that status. But the main argument, I think that the first one, obviously, of
The
the
first
three
one.
of those, is the strongest.
Yeah.
Just basically the argument that its intrinsic value is different from its derivative value, and its
Yeah.
derivative value is not strictly removed when passing away.
Okay, I see. I see.
Yeah. Silence, Deadpool, bro.
Dude,
Silence.
bro, I'm the
Why?
talker.
Why is it? Because
Bro,
you didn't get a chance? Is it because you
dude,
didn't get a chance
no,
to talk, bro?
You guys have been.
Because you didn't get.
No, this is great because he's like a learning theist, so it's good that we can help him out. But like this has been happening for 2 hours, right? So it's
He's an
almost like-
atheist. Didn't you say you were an
No,
atheist?
when he was gone,
No?
he said
No,
he's
no.
he's doing his research.
If
okay.
I had to put it into words, like I said, it would be like a agnostic leaning theist.
Okay, gotcha.
Dude, I want to join a rage bait topic and just like make them concede in 60 seconds, bro.
Bro.
I actually do a lot of rage bait topics. Well, not rage bait topics, but controversial topics. There's a difference. I do
Deadpool and
controversial topics.
this is Deadpool and I's like favorite activity.
Yeah,
animals.
we kind of don't have social lives.
We like to.
I have
we
a question though,
like to
actually. Under
avoid society.
under the first framework, the first question you said before earlier, like under like the value it has based off from the people around it and it's given, right?
Yeah, the first one or the second one?
Oh, what was that? The third one? You said one of them was like based off based off like the value that that it gains from the people around it that actually care for it. Something like that.
The one that was talking about those who cared for it. Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah.
That was
so,
the derivative
under
value.
that, shouldn't some animals go to heaven purely based off of what the connections they have to humans, like pets?
No, because again, we're not going to. And this is, for example, like this is actually what under Catholic and Eastern Orthodox doctrine we talk about something called purgatory, which is talking about the fact that, which obviously sounds really bad, but it's really not that bad, I swear. It's simply just the removal or like the wiping away of our earthly desires that would cause us imperfection when in heaven.
Wait,
And this is temporary. This is a temporary stage. It is neither heaven nor hell. It is just a process that takes place.
Okay, so you're saying like having an affection for like a pet would be an imperfection? Well, but under that logic, wouldn't God?
Not having a pet would be an imperfection. Having the longing for a pet after its death would be an imperfection simply on the basis of the emotion that you have afterwards, like the feeling that you have as a result.
hold up right there.
Obviously, you don't want a bunch of
Having
people walking around in a perfect
feeling
place, like longing, right, for something that died.
After its death is wrong. Okay, and this is would this apply to humans as well? Like having a longing for, like, let's say a human that you knew that died.
What?
Would this also apply like having a longing for like a human that you knew that died, or only animals?
Well, I mean, yeah. It would be included within it would be included within purgatory. Yeah, like sure, like longing. Yeah. The longing would be the.
Well, then, if you no longer have this like longing or this feeling for, wouldn't that mean that purgatory is removing it's heavily removing feelings that people have for each other? Like it's removing.
Sorry.
Because like let's say like your brother was to be deceased and like you have a longing for him and you want him back, right? But then you go through this purgatory process and now you no longer care that much for your brother.
Well, no, I mean but the relationship will be fulfilled in heaven, right? The actual, it's the longing, it's the process of longing in the sense of like the negative despair that will be, because since heaven would be perfect, like it would be infinite euphoria essentially. So as a result of this, if that brings you euphoria to reunite with your brother, then like the actual union in and of itself, if that brings you pleasure or just general euphoria or fulfillment, then yes, that feeling would occur in heaven, even though the longing itself, like the negative despair aspect, like the actual negative feeling, is gone.
But wait, if I thought you said the pleasure would be like a venial sin.
No, no, no. This is more of a sense of like euphoria in the sense of like just well, I mean, this is where I'm starting to mix my like EO dogma, bro. Because like this is kind of like mixing with my EO dogma because we think of heaven as like an essence with God, just like eternal
Also,
essence with God.
Need
also,
energies.
if purgatory is removing this need for your brother or whatever back, then what's the point of heaven giving it back to you if you already lost it?
No, you're losing the negative like sense of despair. You're not
Twist.
losing like again, like the positive action of union is different from the
But wouldn't
negative
wouldn't it already
action of
be
a
lost
loss of.
once you reunite in heaven? Wouldn't it already be lost already? So what's the point of doing that in purgatory? And
No,
in
the
heaven, you wouldn't see him.
despair is gone, but is the only reason that you like being with your brother the fear of losing him?
No, I'm talking like if the despair you got was I lost my brother and now I'm sad, and that's gonna be lost in purgatory, wouldn't it also just be lost in heaven? What's the point of going to purgatory and doing
No,
that?
but
When you just
union in and of itself, separate from a loss of union. Reunion is not the sure, the act of reunion would never exist in heaven because you wouldn't yes, correct, it wouldn't be reunion because that would require you to have felt a loss of union, a separation. You would just feel a continued sense of union like what you had on earth while he was alive. It's
okay,
just a
so
continued sense of
it'll be
union.
more like you go in his room and like and you see them again instead of like a longing loss for them.
Yeah, he's literally just there.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
I mean, obviously, this is just going to be like a different, like, this is going to be under the interpretation of heaven. But yeah, if we're giving it like a physical, like, so that we can like fully understand it, if we just give it like a physical, like concept, yes, it would be like if you went into his room and he was literally just there. But you also never, like, you never, but you didn't have like, you don't get the relief that he's there because you thought he was gone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's just still there. Like, it's just
Okay.
another day, as if like nothing happened.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Hmm.